You are watching ACC Network Extra, a windy Sunday in Charlottesville as we welcome you into Klockner Stadium and the ACC quarterfinal round. It's the third-seeded Virginia Cavaliers playing host to the sixth-seed, the Louisville Cardinals. As we take a look at the ACC tournament bracket, the winner here, a date with either Duke or Florida State in the semifinal round on Friday in Cary, North Carolina. Of course, 4 games happening here today. And alongside former UVA standout Patty Foss, Jack Benjamin on hand. Great to have all of you here with us in Louisville, making their first ever appearance in the ACC tournament. And Patty, they have an outstanding sophomore and Amina Ekic leading the way.
Well, that's right, Jack. Amina Ekic, the sophomore midfielder from Louisville, has been a general in the midfield for head coach Karen Ferguson days, really since her arrival on campus. She's a creative, technical midfielder that'll play that number 10 attacking midfield role. In the first matchup in the regular season against Virginia, she dictated the pace of play for the Louisville Cardinals. If they're going to be successful here in Klockner Stadium today, it's going to run through the number 10.
On the flip side for Virginia, it's a balanced attack all the way around, led by Megan McCool, who scored her 7th goal of the year on Thursday.
Well, that's right. For head coach Steve Swanson, the questions leading into the year were who are going to score the goals for this Virginia Cavaliers team. Megan McCool has stepped up in a big way. Her 7th goal, as you alluded to on Thursday, just won a season ago. She's doing really well in and around the box. She's a hold-up forward, gets in really good spots, and as of late is finding the back of the net.
And McCool scored the only goal in Virginia's 1-0 win over Louisville on October the 4th. The UVA has won all 5 meetings over Louisville. It's the 3rd-seeded Cavaliers, the 6th-seeded Cardinals. Starters and opening kickoff next on ACC Network Extra. Yes. Welcome back to Klockner Stadium in Charlottesville, Virginia, as we get set for Louisville and UVA. The 3rd-seeded Cavaliers playing host to the 6th-seed Louisville. And we'll take a look at the Louisville starters. First ACC tournament appearance for them, Patty. And a starting lineup that's been pretty consistent this year, and Brooklyn Rivers has been a primary goal scorer for them. Well,
the junior started every game since she arrived on campus in Louisville. She's been a force to be reckoned with in the ACC this year with 8 goals, 6 assists. She'll be really a handful for that Virginia backline. Her speed and athleticism play well for these Cardinals.
Louisville in that 4-3-3 led by Kathy Ferguson, Day's 19th season. Meanwhile, for Virginia, the youth attack has been a big part of this team. You get a look there at Alexis Spanstra starting up front.
Well, Alexis Spanstra has been such a bright spot in this attacking unit for Virginia all season. In the first matchup against Louisville, she had her way on the wings, and she was so influential setting up Megan McCool for that game winner. Look for her to have a big day if Steve Swanson's team is going to be successful here.
UVA trying to move on to the ACC semis, and a look there at Gabrielle Cazelis, the redshirt sophomore keeper for Louisville, of course in net for Virginia, Laurel Ivory. And the opening kickoff goes off the face of McCool, and Louisville controls. Louisville and Virginia, October 4th, the two matched up, a 1-0 road win for UVA. The Cavaliers have won all 5 all-time against this Louisville team since moving to the ACC, of course, in 2014, and now their first appearance in this postseason stage. Virginia playing out of the back with Westrup back for Laurel Ivory. A UVA team coming off, of course, a win Thursday against NC State. 2-1 victory. All 3 goals Patty scored in that second half. And this offense really all season long has been dynamic. And here's one of their key players, Rebecca Jarrett, and cleared away by Louisville.
Well, for Virginia, so important that they utilize that wing play all day long. Rebecca Jarrett, Alexis Spanstra, very speedy wingers, and in the first matchup, they were able to play through their wing play really well, and a lot of dangerous opportunities coming from those spots.
It was really an interesting first matchup in Louisville. Only 9 shots combined, only 5 corners attempted, so really a defensive battle. And Saraki a little too far for Spanstra. It's a goal kick upcoming for Louisville. As far as the Cardinals here, Patty mentioned their first ACC appearance. What has to happen today for them to pick up a big win on the road?
Well, for long stretches of that first matchup, the Louisville Cardinals were probably the better team in possession, and that flows through Ekich. They can play really well through the midfield, and for Louisville, if they are able to dictate the pace today and make Virginia play their game, they'll be really successful.
On the flip side, you hinted at it a little bit for UVA, but trying to obviously get a second straight win here and trying to move on to the semis. What has to happen?
Well, key for Virginia, just be decisive when you're in possession. Find your spots, pick your times, and go at Louisville with some speed. Virginia can really utilize their pace, especially as we hinted to those wide positions. So if you're Virginia, be decisive with the ball and go at Louisville early.
A Virginia team that's 14-3, finished up 7-3 in ACC play. Third seed overall, and Louisville actually tied for 5th with Clemson, goal differential, pushing them to the 6th seed. So they open up here on the road. Of course, 4 quarterfinal matchups going on today, and the semis to happen in North Carolina come Friday.
And you're already seeing it early, Jack. This Louisville Cardinals team so comfortable in possession and really good with the ball. And for long stretches, as we said in that first matchup, they were able to take the game to Virginia. If they're able to control the pace of play and to keep the ball, especially in the midfield, they could be really successful against this Cavalier team.
And that's something Kathy Ferguson-Days has talked about, mentioned now her 19th season. But the shift that this team's undergone, Patty, going to more of a possession-based type system, is Torres floats for Spanstra. Spanstra weaving in, and that's covered up well by Louisville. A nice defensive job by Allison Whitfield. But a Louisville team, Patty, they've had a lot more success this year going to that passing-oriented attack, and as you mentioned, some dynamic midfielders to go with it.
Well, and it's not just Ekich, but McKinney and Lasabran's been really, really good in possession and sitting in front of that back line and doing a good job, not only in the attacking roles, but to clean up any sort of attack from the opposing team.
Rivers able to get by McClernand. Now working on Morse. Can't get a shot off. That's well done defensively by the junior.
And there you get a look at that physicality of Rivers early.
Here's the counter opportunity for Virginia. Torres trying to feed it and intercepted by Ariana Ferraro, the junior from Manalapan, New Jersey. Too far on that pass. Out of the reach of Whitfield, and back to UVA for a throw. Two teams, it's interesting, Patty. Both, of course, pride themselves on defense, but they can both really score as well. Interesting to see what kind of pace we'll see early on.
Well, and in a playoff game, you got to think both teams dealing with a little bit of nerves and looking to settle in early. So it's so important that you don't give up an early mistake and you don't allow your opponent to put one on the board early and get in a hole.
Is that the biggest mentality shift when you were playing and moving to ACC tournament play? Of course, winner or go home?
Well, it's the same game as you've been playing all season, but certainly the dials are turned up, and really one mistake could send you home in a tournament like this. So certainly here in the early going, so important for these players to get comfortable and to get their feet under them and then build from there.
A miscue there in the back line for Louisville off the foot of Ferraro, and now UVA back in possession. Mentioned the first appearance in the ACC championship for Louisville. Virginia, meanwhile, 18-21-9 all-time. Won in the quarterfinals last year, and here's a ball fed all the way through for Megan McCool. Streaking ahead, and just off the hands of Cazelis to save it. A really good early chance, Patty, for McCool. Westrup trying to keep the pressure on, and a one-hopper handled by Cazelis.
And there you get an early look at the speed that Virginia possesses. Playing an early ball in behind here. Really good ball there from Saraki, and McCool able to find it, and really having to go early from a tough angle, but Cazelis up to the task with a tip there.
We've talked about Megan McCool, Patty, and the difference in her being able to score goals this year. What's been the biggest factor for her to really get on that score sheet so constantly?
Well, I think for a center forward, a huge amount of it is just confidence. You get one, you can build off that, and you can see it in McCool's game. She's confident, she's getting in good spots, and she's able to have the finish and score some goals here this season.
7 goals this year for McCool, including the only goal in the matchup with Louisville, of course, on October the 4th. Cazellas will boot it away. 4th on the career shutout list, already a big save early in this match. That ball took a tough hop to her and finds the foot of Zandy, and now Jarrett. Working hard against the defense of Hernandez and giving back. And Sutton goes down and called for the foul. She's asking what happened. A look at Kathy Ferguson-Day's 19th season now at the helm, Patty, and what a terrific job she's done with this group over the last couple of years. Well,
such a veteran coach, and you're right, over the past few years, she's gotten some of the personnel in to play the style that she wants to, and they've been so dominant as a possession-oriented team here, especially in 2018.
And worth noting, too, she's done a really good job of recruiting in the state of Kentucky, recruiting in Louisville. They have a lot of homegrown talent on this roster.
Well, and that's evidenced by none other than Ekich, 2-time Gatorade Player of the Year there in Kentucky, and such a special talent there out of Louisville.
Here's Whitfield against Saraki. Trying to feed Rivers, and Ivory able to clamp down and grab that one.
And Jack, that's a matchup that we're going to want to pay attention to all day. Phoebe McClernand, such a physical presence along that Virginia back line, and Brooklyn Rivers, the same for Louisville. So they'll go at it for all 90 minutes and should be an entertaining one to keep an eye on.
Of course, the Virginia back line we've been watching closely since the Syracuse matchup when Courtney Peterson went out with an injury, and Lizzie Saraki has stepped in as the outside back. And, of course, McClernand and Morse, the centers, really all season long. That one tracked down by Whitfield. Defended by Saraki, and it's off her body for an early Louisville corner. A look at Steve Swanson, no stranger to ACC play, and actually got his 400th career win against NC State Thursday as Louisville prepares a corner. Swanson on that exclusive list of coaches to reach that 400 win mark and approaching 300 with UVA. This is Rivers to take it. Early corner opportunity for Louisville. It goes near post, headed by Westrup. Ekich feeding it back in, and the header is in. Louisville has struck first. A 10th minute goal.
Jack, we've talked about it all day, but Amina Ekich, such a quality in midfield, and this left-footed service into the box, really special. Catches Virginia coming off that corner and puts the Louisville Cardinals up 1-0 here early.
It's a terrific ball and a great finish as well. Looked like Sarah Hernandez. Laurel Ivory doesn't allow many, but one gets by her there, and an early goal for Louisville and just a terrific start on the road, Patty.
Well, this Virginia team has had their woes on set pieces all year long, but a fantastic second delivery there from Ekich, finding the head of Hernandez, and she does so well with the header, heading it down and not giving Laurel Ivory a chance to put Louisville up 1-0 here early.
For Sarah Hernandez, her second goal of the season. A freshman who has stepped into this starting lineup. One of 2 freshmen actually starting for Kathy Ferguson-Days. And what a moment for her as well. On the road, quarterfinal round in Louisville, a 10th minute goal. And now Virginia, Patty, how do they bounce back?
Well, for Virginia, you got to go right back at Louisville. Got to see if you can steal one back before this game starts to settle. And this Louisville Cardinals team has been so good all year long across the back line and settling into games. So if you're Virginia, you want to be able to steal one right back and find that equalizer.
Header by Westrup. Tries to find McCool and cleared out again by Louisville. Saraki sending one in. McCool got a foot to it and maybe just lost her footing.
We looked at the service from Ekich on that first goal. That's a fantastic ball in from Lizzie Saraki, and Megan McCool alone at about 8 yards out and unable to put that one on frame. So certainly a golden chance there for Virginia to get right back in this game. Goes for Megan McCool.
Couple pretty good balls from Saraki already as McCool stumbles. You can see wearing that cast on her arm. Broke her hand against Syracuse. Whitfield heading it on, and now Torres. Well, Virginia hasn't fallen behind much, Patty, early in games especially. Really, in general, they haven't trailed much, but when they've conceded goals, usually they've come late. Definitely a question now, and of course Florida State got one early as well, but when you give up an early goal, how they'll adjust both offensively, defensively, but especially in a tournament game, handling emotions a key as well.
Well, and so much time left to play in this game, so it's really important for Steve Swanson's team that they don't get rattled and they don't try to take too many risks here early. But certainly, you never want to go down early, especially a tournament game. But this Virginia team, very experienced, and you would expect that they'll be able to respond and see if they can steal one back here as we move deeper into the first half.
Saraki against Whitfield. And a good touch by Spanstra. A Virginia team coming in 11th in the nation. They've risen as high as the top 5 this season. Currently 14th in RPI. And, of course, the ACC tournament, winning the championship, of course, is the prize and the gold. But, Patty, these kind of games, just advancing round by round, trying to boost your NCAA tournament seeding as well, that's something to keep an eye on in addition. As a set piece upcoming here for McClurnan off the foul from Louisville. So UVA will pack in the box. A UVA team that's been terrific on set pieces all year. It's McClurnan to take it. Zandy streaking. Able to track it down. Defended well by Ferraro, and now it's Torres. Louisville, Patty, really flying around defensively here early.
Well, and they're able to drop a little bit into a shell here, making it really tough for Virginia to play in between their lines and find those chances.
Oh, Rebecca Jarrett dazzling, feeding in front. Spanstra scores! We're tied at 1.
And right on cue, Jack. Rebecca Jarrett just tearing up this Louisville back line out wide, finding the feet of Alexis Spanstra, and such a composed finish there from the freshman to knot this game up early.
7th goal of the season for Spanstra. Jarrett with just a terrific individual effort for her 2nd assist of the year.
And we talked about the importance of that wing play for Virginia. Rebecca Jarrett, such a quick player, and a really, really special ball in there for Alexis Spanstra, who again takes a touch, is able to settle herself and pick out the corner there. Nothing Cazelis could do on that one.
Well, Patty, we talked about how would UVA respond to allowing an early goal. I'd say that's a pretty good answer from the Cavaliers.
Well, and now the script flipped a little bit. How does this Louisville team respond to giving up that lead early on the road? Are they able to come back and get right back in this one with Virginia?
So another goal for Spanstra, ties her with McCool for the team lead. A UVA team that, of course, has been terrific scoring all season, 4th in the nation. And here they are in possession looking for more. This is a team that has been among the leaders, Patty, nationally, but the kind of balance they have this season, you talk to Steve Swanson, I mean, it is maybe the most balanced group offensively he's ever had with how many weapons there are. Here's Torres, and a flag came up on the far side. And Patty, just so many different ways they can score, so many weapons, the different ways they can put the ball in the net.
Well, for Coach Steve Swanson, he talks about his recruiting as reloading, and really the freshmen on this team, such an example of that. Spanstra and Jarrett, we saw them link up on that goal, but all season long they've brought something, a spark into this Virginia Cavaliers team, and really in their wide positions are really doing a good job, especially in such an important time now as we head into the postseason.
All the way back to Ivory. Allowed that early goal, only the 9th she's allowed this season. Comes in 8th all-time in wins in Cavalier history, and only a sophomore. Just has been outstanding in her young career here in Charlottesville. And Siraki with a nice run. Has Spanstra out wide, pursued by Ferraro. Spanstra found the foot of McCool, but she was off balance. Siraki. And a foul called on Louisville as Siraki went down trying to cross it.
And it looks like Eckett's just coming in here a little bit late on Lizzie Siraki, but a really dangerous spot here for Virginia on the set piece.
Another look at the collision here. So another set piece upcoming for Virginia. 15 gone in our first half, already seen 2 goals. A 1-1 tally. Montana Sutton bends it in. And it found the foot of Morse on the far post, Patty. She found some room.
And a really dangerous ball in here from Montana Sutton. Zoe Morse finding that spot on the back post and unable to direct that one on goal, but Virginia knocking on the door again to find that second goal.
So dangerous all season on the set pieces. Point blank for Morse and just bounced up a little high on her. Zandy a little too much on it for Jarrett. And back to the Cardinals. And an interesting storyline here, Patty, as well. Of course, Louisville scoring early and then Virginia answering. This is a young Louisville team. You look at what they've done in the starting lineup, about 55% or so freshmen and sophomores. So how will the young players of Louisville react is something to watch as well. There's McLernan with some room. Has played nearly every minute this year for Virginia. Siraki. Spanstra has Torres. And a nice defensive play there from Hernandez. A good start for Hernandez, both offensively and defensively, Patty. Scored the 1 goal for Louisville and a couple nice plays on the UVA attack. McKinney. And back for Vincent. Gabby Vincent, senior captain at center back, and a takeaway here from Zandy for Virginia. Too far for a streaking Spanstra.
Yeah, and a tough ball there from Zandy, but that's where Virginia is going to be really dangerous in this game. If they can pick up those loose balls in midfield and drive at that Louisville Cardinal back line quickly, they can have a lot of success there on the break.
Rivers trying to race to it, and Morse gets there first. And a takeaway here by Siraki. That's a nice play defensively from Ferraro. And Zoe Morse goes down. Free kick upcoming here for Virginia. If you're just joining us, ACC quarterfinal. 3rd-seeded Virginia, 6th-seeded Louisville. Winner a date with either Duke or Florida State Friday in the semis. Both the semis and the finals in Cary, North Carolina. 2 early goals. Sarah Hernandez a header in the 10th minute, and then Alexis Spanstra answering in the 14th. Here is Spanstra. Pressured defensively by Whitfield and cleared out to Ekich. She can make things happen in open space, and a good ball here. Morse and Ivory talking, and Morse clears, Patty. Louisville putting some pressure on this UVA back line early. They have a lot of speed. They've got some dynamic threats. And we talk about how balanced Virginia is, Patty, but Louisville, they have a lot of weapons as well.
Well, it certainly do. And Brooklyn Rivers, again, going at Phoebe McClernand there. The physicality in this game really starting to ramp up. If they can start to find Maisie Whitsett there on the left side, Louisville looking more and more dangerous as they hit Virginia on that break.
And a takeaway here by Zandy. Tries to start a counter with Jarrett. Rebecca Jarrett assisted on Spanstra's goal. Feeds one here. McCool has room. And the save made by Cazelis. Keeps us tied at 1. Virginia applying a lot of pressure. Spanstra with room. And that's cleared away by Ferraro for Virginia corner.
Trying to get a look back at it here, but again, the pace of Rebecca Jarrett on full display. She finds Megan McCool, and for the junior center forward, she's got to do better with that. A clear-cut chance in front of goal, and hits one straight at Cazelis, who does well to parry it away.
First sub of the game goes to Virginia, and it's Claire Constant coming on, freshman from Alexandria. Local product. Taryn Torres to take the corner. Tied at 1. Outswinger here. Headed away by Louisville to the foot of Sutton. And now Jarrett. Pressured by Rivers. Sutton feeding it back in and too far for Torres. Cleared away well by Ferraro. What have you seen, Patty, defensively from Louisville after conceding that first goal to Virginia?
Well, it looks a bit like both teams have started to settle in. You can see Karen Ferguson-Day's team dropping in 2 blocks of 4, really organized against this Virginia team. Really, the only way that we've seen Virginia dangerous has been in those individual efforts through the likes of Alexis Spantra and Rebecca Jarrett running at that Louisville back line. So if they can tidy up that individual defending, it's really an organized group here for Louisville.
Ferraro goes down on the challenge with Torres, and Louisville will get a free kick. A 4-1 shots advantage early for Virginia, 3-1 on goal. But of course, only thing that matters on the scoreboard, tied at 1. Ball sent ahead here toward Rivers. Can she outrun Morse? She does. Rivers cutting it back. And Morse, how about that recovery defensively?
Well, and if you're Louisville, that's a matchup that you want to see all day. The pace of Brooklyn Rivers, if she can match up against Zoe Morse, who's not necessarily as athletic as Phoebe McClernand, she can have the upper hand, especially if she can run in some open space.
Rivers comes in with 8 goals, but hasn't scored one in the last 4. Throw in here for Louisville. The Cardinals team that was rolling in the early section of ACC play, lost 2 of their final 3. And there's a takeaway from Jarrett as she was moving ahead in a foul called on Nadej Lasperance.
And you see there, center referee Mark Gorick letting Lasperance know that that'll be the last of that. Rebecca Jarrett so effective here early with her speed, and Lasperance with a good foul there, a professional foul in her own half, not allowing Jarrett to start the counter.
McClernand will send it away. And over the head of Vincent, who lets it go by. More subs coming on for Virginia. Hannah Kerner and Anna Sumter check in. Brianna Westrup and Taryn Torres will come out. And Patty, we've talked about it. Hannah Kerner, such a key part now defensively with no Courtney Peterson stepping up in that back line for Virginia.
Well, and Kerner's such an attacking-minded outside back for Steve Swanson. Look for her to push into that attack, see if they can have some success serving balls in there from the right side.
Here's Claire Constant for Spanstra. Zandy. Spanstra with some craftiness on the outside. Racing by Ferraro, feeding it in. Found the foot of McCool. Just had a little too much pace to it, and Ferraro unable to clear. A third corner upcoming for Virginia.
Well, and the amount of success that Alexis Spantra's having on the left side for Virginia has got to be causing some concern for Karen Ferguson-Days, because her going at Ferraro has been very effective here early. And if you're Ariana Ferraro, you've got to be calling for that second defender. See if you can get some support, because Alexis Spantra really having her way there down the left side.
It's Sydney Zandy to take the corner. Third of the match for Virginia. And that one's clipped to the side of the netting. And Virginia unable to get a shot off that corner try. Cazellas has it placed down and will send it away. Bouncing back well, Patty, from allowing that opening goal. Made a terrific save, of course, earlier. And a takeaway here by Sumter. Looking for Jarrett, cleared away. And the header by Ekic finds the foot of Morse. Approaching the midway point of our opening half. We're already past it. And tied at 1 right now between the third-seeded Virginia Cavaliers and the 6th-seed, the Louisville Cardinals ACC quarterfinal. As Alyssa Gorzak will come on for Virginia, junior from Naperville, Illinois. She'll replace Rebecca Jarrett.
And Gorzak, another speedy winger for Steve Swanson, been having a really good stretch of games here lately, so look for her to go at this Louisville back line off the dribble.
Zandy. Kind of get back on Whitfield. And no one at that far post, but it does go off of Louisville's Gabby Vincent, and a fourth corner upcoming for Virginia. And Patty, Virginia doing what you were saying earlier, getting that ball out wide, feeding it in, just haven't quite connected on that long cross yet.
Well, and especially over the last 10 minutes, Virginia have been very effective in pushing Louisville deeper and not allowing them to find that possession that they crave. So Virginia certainly with the upper hand here as we tick down into the final parts of this first half.
Sutton sends in the corner. Headed away by McKinney. Put down for Gorzak, got a shot off and blocked well by Rivers. Morse rolls one into the waiting arms of Cazellas. Redshirt sophomore goalkeeper, native of Ohio. 7 shutouts, 5 of them coming in ACC play. Has started all 35 in her career. And a collision between Sutton and Ekic goes the way of the Cardinals. So Gabby Vincent will take it. Looking for Whitfield, headed by Constant. And now Gorzak. Rivers surrounded by Virginia defenders and finds Whitfield. Held off well defensively by Constant, and it's a goal kick upcoming for Virginia. More subs coming on. Iona Dew and Betsy Brandon, and this is the benefit of Steve Swanson's team, Patty. A lot of depth they can go to.
Well, certainly, and Coach Swanson all year long hasn't been shy to go to his bench and rotate those legs as the postseason ticks on it and those legs keep getting heavier and heavier. Look for Virginia to keep his rotation going and see if they can keep fresh legs on the pitch at all times.
Brandon with a nice placement header for Sumter. Pass toward McCool, intercepted by Hernandez. A goal either side here early in the ACC quarterfinal. Louisville striking first with Sarah Hernandez in the 10th minute. Virginia responding about 6 minutes later with Alexa Spanstra. This is Hannah Kerner with some space. Kerner looking for Spanstra. Races to it. Cazellas covers it up, but it's deflected off her for a 5th Virginia corner.
And when we talked earlier about being decisive in possession, Jack, that's a great example of Hannah Kerner driving at this Louisville Cardinal back line and finding the slip here for Alexis Spanstra. Really bringing a spark off that bench is Hannah Kerner.
This time Betsy Brandon to take the corner. Goes low with it. And fed away nicely by Louisville. Under 14 to go now in this opening half, tied at 1. Patty, what's either team thinking about to try to grab some momentum here before the break?
Well, especially if you're Louisville, you have got to find more of the ball in possession. This Louisville Cardinals team has been so good in possession all year long, and so much of their game revolves around that. Virginia's done a good job in pressing them deep and not allowing them time on the ball to find those midfielders. But if you're Karen Ferguson-Days, you got to be telling your team as they head into the break, we have to find more of the ball, and we have to be able to push Virginia back if we're going to be successful.
Ashlyn Sarepka, freshman from Cornelius, California, has come on for Virginia. Kennedy Carbon in for Louisville, their first sub. Senior, local product of Louisville, transfer from Mississippi State, gives what you would think would be a quick spell to Brooklyn Rivers, who's been working hard up front. Here's McClernand. Looking for Spanstra. And a good soft touch to put it down. Virginia, Patty, will build out of the back line a bunch, but they do a really good job of sending in those long balls. A lot of really solid passers, and of course Steve Swanson stresses the fundamentals of his group all the time. It's Sarepka. And taken away, and a collision here with Nadege L'Esperance, and a free kick upcoming for Virginia. A set pieces, Patty. Big emphasis either side coming into this match. Virginia already with 5 corners. A set piece here. They go quick to Constant. Gorzak cutting it back. Headed by Carbon. This is Kerner.
And Jack, you're getting a look at how deep Virginia is able to push this Louisville Cardinals team. All 11 players there for a stretch for Louisville in their own box, and so only a matter of time if this is the way the game's going to go that Virginia will find that second goal.
What's the biggest thing Virginia has to adjust to when Louisville's dropping that deep?
Well, you want to keep utilizing those wing plays, and you want to keep finding those crosses into the box because so little space in and around the box from Louisville that you really need to stretch the field and see if you can hit Louisville wide.
Yellow card given out to Louisville. And it goes on Kennedy Carbon, who we mentioned had just subbed in moments ago. Been a physical match so far. Expected in an ACC quarterfinal. And the wind playing some wonders here as this one's popped up and now finds Gorzak. Header by Whitfield. And now Ekich. Some good patience by Louisville. And now Ekich again. Well done by Morse to feed it back to Ivory in goal. Approaching the final 10 minutes of this first half. Of course, a lot of quarterfinal action going on today around the ACC. We'll get you caught up at halftime as far as scores. 4 quarterfinal matchups. The 4 winners will play in the semis come Friday in Cary, North Carolina. And Patty, all season long, we've talked about the ACC, how strong it is, but top to bottom, I mean, these are it's going to be a really competitive tournament, going to be a really competitive championship overall.
Well, certainly, and the top 10 matchup there in the quarterfinal down in Durham with Duke taking on Florida State. Florida State with the 1-0 lead there early, but so many competitive matches all around the conference, not only today, but each and every week here in the ACC.
Winner of this matchup getting either Duke or Florida State. Off the body of Serepka and taken by Kerner. Hannah Kerner playing it out wide for Spanstra. Has some room. Spanstra tried to cut it back, and that's well done defensively. Gorzak over the head of Ferraro. And that one ushered out for the Louisville throw. Yeah. Well, look at what Virginia's been able to do this year, Patty. Another very strong regular season for Steve Swanson and company.
Well, and you see there 9-1 at Klockner Stadium. Such a tough place to come in and get a result.
A giveaway here. Adu back towards Sumter. Out wide, they've got Kerner, and her touch just a little too heavy. And you mentioned, Patty, playing at home here, they've been so successful to Klockner. Of course, over the years, home field advantage huge for UVA.
And especially here in the postseason, so tough to go on the road with the travel and come into Klockner Stadium and get a result. But especially if you're coming from this Louisville team, having to make the long bus ride from Kentucky. You know, you'll talk to Karen Ferguson Days. She'll tell you a very tough trip and one that they ended up having to split over 2 days with a group going on Friday and another on Saturday. So certainly a tough road test here for Louisville Cardinals.
Kiana Klein subbed in moments ago for Louisville, freshman from Lebanon, Ohio. And now they bring on another sub. It's Taylor Kerwin, who had a really good chance against UVA in their matchup on October the 4th. Kerwin, a sophomore from Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin. Coach Karen Ferguson Days calling her one of the hardest workers on this Louisville team. Serepka, watched by Vincent, was able to defend her well and feeds it out for a UVA throw. Vincent, a 4-year starting center back on this Louisville defense. 72nd career start today. She's 5th all-time in that category. A giveaway here by Louisville. Serepka trying to push forward. And a foul going on Virginia and Serepka. And Patty, I was going to ask you about the Louisville defense dropping back. Are there things, of course, dropping back becomes a case where UVA can apply a lot of pressure, but are there certain things they're doing well defensively right now?
Well, they're doing well at making the field small for Virginia. Not allowing those speedy Virginia wingers and this really athletic Virginia attacking unit to run at them over long stretches. The issue only being now for Karen Ferguson Days, is she able to clean up that individual defending, because Virginia has been so effective running at that Louisville back line that if they can start to pick them apart on an individual basis, they'll continue to have that success, especially in those wide areas.
Set piece here for McClernand. Our 40th minute of action in Charlottesville. A cool and windy Sunday. Glad you can join us on ACC Network Extra. Jack Benjamin and Patty Foss with you. ACC quarterfinal. 3-seed Virginia, 6-seed Louisville going at it. First time they've matched up in an ACC tournament. Louisville's first appearance in the ACC championship. Brandon for Constant. And Serepka runs to it. Serepka against Hernandez, the outstanding freshman. Brandon, a one-time pass for Gorzak, and Kazelis gets there first.
And a good look there from Betsy Brandon, trying to find the feet of Alyssa Gorzak, but a really heads-up play from Kazelis to come out and sniff out that Virginia attack.
Kazelis, Patty's really been sharp after allowing that first goal, and of course Spanstra was in a tough spot in terms of where she was shooting from, but she's done well. Crosses, handling a couple shots, a big save on McCool. Virginia on the move again. Final 3:45 of this opening half. Ferraro for Klein. Louisville trying to clear out of their own territory. Ekic surrounded and somehow wheels her way out of trouble.
And you get a look at the quality of Ekic there. So technical with the ball and so clever in and around with those Virginia defenders, really draped all over.
Sam Rosette, who came on a few moments ago. And that ball too far for Ashlyn Serepka. Ekic, Patty, so many ways she can beat you offensively. So we saw the dribbling skills there as a look at Ashlyn Serepka. Ekic, a Mac Herman Trophy watch list member, first Louisville player ever to receive that honor. Just so dynamic with the way she attacks, and of course has that national team experience as well. Member of both the U.S. U17 and U19 national teams for Amina Ekic. And Kerner was pushed, a free kick for Virginia. Final 2.5 minutes in this opening half in Charlottesville, tied at 1. Louisville struck first, Sarah Hernandez scoring, and then Alexis Spanstra knotting it up for Virginia. Winner to the semifinals on Friday. Serepka. And now Betsy Brandon. She's crafty, Patty. But the way she can pass, and Sumter able to track that one down. Trying to feed Rosette.
Copy that.
So we approach the final 90 seconds here, Patty. What's either team thinking about as we wind down here in this first half?
Well, certainly you don't want to give anything up here in the dying moments of the first half, but if you're Louisville, you have to be going into halftime thinking that you want to be able to find the ball a little bit more, see if you can bring the game to Virginia in the second half, because Virginia's done a really good job here in the first half, pressing Louisville deep, not allowing them to have those long stretches of possession. So really important in the locker room for Karen Ferguson Days. Can she get her team more organized in the attacking end? They've done such a good job in keeping this Virginia attack at bay, but can they start to find the ball a little bit more going forward in the second half?
On the flip side, for Steve Swanson's group, are there adjustments they're maybe going to try to make as Louisville drops a little bit deeper?
Well, I think it's got to be more of the same for Steve Swanson, Alexis Spanstra, and Rebecca Jarrett, especially having so much success down in wide areas. Can they continue to run at that Louisville back line and see if they can find that second goal?
Final 30 seconds in our opening half as Laurel Ivory places it down. Allowed that one goal in the 10th minute on the header by Hernandez. And then Spanstra evening things about 4 minutes later. Here is Sumter. Final 10 seconds. As Louisville tosses in And that will do it for the first half in Charlottesville. Knotted at 1 at the break in our ACC quarterfinal, Patty. Both teams getting started early, and then the defense stepping up in the later stages of that half.
Well, certainly both teams coming off to a hot start and able to settle in as we had the first half tick on. Both will look to regroup and come out flying here in the second half.
Tied at 1 at the break between Virginia and Louisville.